Shalom, all of God's people, all of Yahweh Elohim's chosen. I want y'all to bear with me because I am going to be moving a little quickly. It's going to be a lot of explaining in the middle of a lot of reading. It's going to be a little reading, probably about 3 chapters, probably 3 or 4 chapters, but I'm going to move through them kind of quickly because it's a lot that I was given to say. First off, I have to start narrowing down a lot of things. I'm here only for the elect, for the chosen ones, the ones in the last days who have been called, grabbed out, called by name. For anyone else that has any questions, I'm willing and I'm always here to help and to break down things, but I'm here in video servicing to the elect because we got to get this thing going. We got to get it going, and we got to understand some things. The reason why we're going through a lot of things, the reason why things are happening, and the reasons why it is the way it is. And a lot of people don't talk about this. A lot of people don't talk about this because for some reason, I don't know. But I was brought early this morning. Right now it is like 1 a.m. I couldn't go to sleep without this charge that I was given this morning. You understand? And I was taken, I'm going to narrow it down for you, just break it down real quick. I was taken to Ezekiel chapters 20 through 24, 25. And it was speaking of mainly the main objective was two daughters of mine. Okay, when you have daughters, sons and daughters inside of you, you are a wife, you are a woman, a bride of Christ, you are a chosen one, you are Christ's bride. Okay, now you have been chosen for a reason. You have been chosen. Okay, and in my particular experience, I know that as I was reading and learning while I was going through it and being set apart for a while, and then when I was being put aside and set all the way aside for righteousness' sake, it wasn't by my own doing. All right, it wasn't by my own strength. I didn't have no choice. Everybody was, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was turned against me, so I had to go to God. I mean, I went to God, and He answered me, and He kept me under that rock. All right. And I was blessed enough to know some things about myself and to be adopted. But in my scriptural learning and all of my law and the law that's written on my heart that I experienced, I understood that how we were and what it means to be under the priesthood by the order of Melchizedek. Now, I'm going to come one day probably and do a whole breakdown of Melchizedek because it's a lot you guys, I'm sure you don't know. And I just found out not too long ago. So, but first, I'm charged to do this. So, whenever you get a chance, if you want to, go read Ezekiel chapters, I would say 20 to 25. All right. And it's going to speak of 2 daughters. All right. One was Aholah. She was born in Egypt. Okay. Now, as I was being taken out of Egypt, and I was Moses at that time. This is why I'm speaking to the elect, because there's some things I'm going to say is not going to make sense to a lot of people, and some people you're just going to have to catch on. You're going to have to get it, man. You got to get it. You got to get it. Okay. For you move from glory to glory, and you're trying to move to Christ. But that's for another time. Right now, I need you to understand that I had 2 daughters. Okay? One was born in Egypt. One was, she did a lot of whoredom. You know, a lot of fornicating, literal fornication. I was in sin. Basic dude just out here living life, not even paying attention and understanding the power of God, okay? Elohim, Yahweh, okay? So that's one person. And when Christ, when God, the Father, Yahweh, set me apart all the way and started working, I was repenting and giving up what I learned to be sacrifices of the Spirit, which is what we are in right now, which is in the new covenant. I was turning away from a lot of stuff, like giving up a lot of habits, man, and it was just, I couldn't have done it on my own. I had been smoking for a long time. I had been fornicating for a long time. All right, so I couldn't have done it on my own, but we did it, okay, and I was made worthy by God Himself, working on me and putting me through the refiner's fire, okay? Now, after I did that, I bore another daughter, right? Which she was righteous. She was born in Jerusalem. You'll see that when you go to Ezekiel and look it up, okay? And just yesterday, I was going through some things, man. I was just looking at some stuff with people, you know what I mean? Just looking at how tightly knit this thing is. And it was very, you know what I mean? It was kind of, it was hurtful for me to know and convicting of myself, because I knew that I had started being lackadaisical. And what I understood it was the prophets were, the prophets who were within me were, some were having the truth that they came up, and some of them were prophesying. He called it conspiring with one another. Okay, and they was conspiring falsely, and I was just letting things ease on by until I was convicted. And that happened this morning when I opened the book. I prayed and repented, because I knew that I had, I was falling off, man. I was falling off, and I was things were manifesting, clouds were opening up, and things was just beautiful, beautiful. And after a while, weeks and weeks went by, months and months, and then I got a little too comfortable. You know what I mean? So I want you guys to understand some things so we can move on from here, because I know you're going through the same thing. All right, I know you're going through the same thing. For it's now it's time we understand these things. Okay. Now, the second daughter was Aholiah. She was born in Jerusalem. She fell by the same way her sister did, to the same traps and snares, which was for me lustful thoughts, because I haven't actually had intercourse in about some months, 4 months maybe, but the thoughts, you know what I'm saying, the thoughts was there, they came back, and I was texting people, or you know what I'm saying, it's just shooting, even not even really trying, but just doing it out of the weakness of my own flesh. So you can be taken from glory, and He'll show you that in those 5 chapters I just showed you. But that's just a story of where I came to where I'm at now today, and where I'm bringing to you guys in Jeremiah. You guys can start turning to Jeremiah chapter 21, 22. We're going to read from 21 to 25. All right. It's crazy that He gave me the same books too. For I just opened the book, and there was Ezekiel telling me exactly what was going on with me, because I did understand. He was telling me the people were around and all the things that was going on. Yes, you finna get the wrath. I understood I had to take the wrath. I'm finna go under it. But I'm willing, because it says, He said it Himself. He said He purged you. He purged me Himself. He purged me, but I wasn't all the way purged before I went back. So now I have to be in the wrath, and I have to do it all. I have to do it on my own now, but I don't really feel alone. But I have to make a conscious decision then and actually fight through it this time. For the first time, it was only by grace and mercy, man. It was only by grace. Only by grace. Because I wasn't worthy then, but I was made worthy. Long story short, because I'm already brabbling, man, and we ain't got the scriptures. I want to tell you guys that the daughters that I was raised, they both went by the same way. Out. Christ, God convicted me, and He told me that this was going to happen, and that was why you're going to have this and that. So I was like, okay, I understand that. No problem. I understand, Lord. So I wrote down the charges that I was going to have to do. I have this on my head right now because of that. It says you have to wear, keep your shoes on. If you cry, don't cry over the dead. Those two girls, they dead. They dead. They finna go die. You've been convicting them already, and you've been knowing that. So I'm not gonna have to. I can't worry about it. I have to smile. What you guys need to learn is the troubles that you're going through, the things that you're going through, is not because of what you think it is. For I thought for a long time that since I did never take any other gods or anything, or I wasn't ever, I was a virgin, I was a virgin. What the Bible calls a virgin. I was a virgin. All right. So once I picked up those scriptures and went into it and looked at those with virgin eyes, for I found God, found Yahweh, found Christ. These things I know. Okay. Even though my flesh still wars with my spirit, I'm still with sin. For anybody who says they are not with sin, they are lying to you. But I'm telling you right now, it is a time of peace. Everybody is telling you to war against these people that are being brought around you, and to pray against the things that they're putting on you, whether it be witchcraft, whether it be little things to make you upset or make you fearful or make you sad. For these are the things that they draw energy from, which the spirit world draws from you, because you are a light worker. Okay, you have very strong powers in the spiritual realm. You done shook some stuff up. Boy, I know you can pray. I know you can pray. I know you know about that corner. I know you know about that. For you wouldn't be a chosen one if you didn't. So these are the things that I know about you. All right. Now, what if I told you that there's a few select type of people, and I'm going to start off with two and let the scriptures do the rest as we go. All right. One of them is the people who were taken into captivity by Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. Okay? When you're coming out of Egypt, you are turning away from sin, and you are putting sin aside whenever you're being refined and you're being raised to glory. Okay? This is spiritual now. So there are people that have been taken captive. Okay? Some of them took on some of the traits of the people in Babylon. Okay, they started serving other gods. They started giving their sons for marriage and marrying their daughters, burning incense and things of that nature to idols, in which they don't understand. But what if I told you that God said, do that? And the reason why you and I have been reproached and done the way we are is because we never indulged in that. For you have another set that was left in Jerusalem. You have some that was left in Jerusalem, in the land that was promised to our fathers back then. We dwelling in the land. Your body is the land, the promised land. Okay, understand this. I'm going to keep moving. All right, we dwelling in that land already. So We were not supposed to do that, for God had put a charge against us. Okay? Everybody on the earth, he gave the whole world to Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. He gave the whole world to the king of Babylon. Why? So he can rule it. Okay? He gave the whole world. And he called Nebuchadnezzar his servant. The king of Babylon, his servant. For you've been calling yourself his servant this whole time, and you ain't even serving his will. For he said, you supposed to be take those yokes and bonds, put them around your neck. Do those things, for I will repent for you. Gee, God is going to repent for the people who are stuck in Babylon right now, who are doing all kind of evil, witchcraft, and you name it. God said, do it. Serve Nebuchadnezzar. For if anybody comes to you and tell you that you are to war and fight against these things and pray against them and prophesy against them, they are not of God. They are liars, movers of their own heart. But when you have someone coming to you and telling you peace, then you understand that this is from God. Read your scriptures. Verify it if you want to, but I'm going to keep moving. So soak it all up. All right? Let me turn this fan. This thing hot. Okay. So you're supposed to do those things. All right? There's been a charge against the people of Israel. There's been a charge against Judah. There's been a charge against you and I, dwelling in the land, not bowing in service to the king of Babylon. For I thought the whole time that I've been knowing since a child that I was, you know what I'm saying? I was going to be called to do something. For I knew that God was going to have to come call me, though, because I'm hard-headed. I prove, and I like to study and understand and make sure I ain't jumping the gun. So he did that. That's what made me buckle up and pay attention. And that's when he worked his wonders with me for a while. So, brings me here. So after I learned, he showed me what was my reproach, why I felt so down, and I was supposed to feel down, and I messed up. Yes. You picked up a blunt again. You chiefed, and people came around you, and they was talking and doing things, and you was right back in similar conversation. I wasn't speaking of things. I wasn't actually doing really a lot of evil. I wasn't doing no evil really in my eyes, but I wasn't staying in righteousness, for I had false prophets within me. And I'm telling all of these false prophets that's out here right now, y'all need to get it together, because y'all talking about all of this. We finna break it down to you. It says, we're Jeremiah chapter 20. I'm gonna start at 7. It says, O Yahweh, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily. Every one mocketh me. For since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil, because the word of Yahweh was made a reproach unto me, and a derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name, because I was understanding that, man, but but his word was in my heart, as a burning fire shut up in my bones, and I was very weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. For I heard the defaming of many, fear on every side, report, say they, and will report it. All my familiars watch for my halting, saying, peradventure he will be enticed, and will prevail against him, and we will take our revenge on him. But Yahweh is with me, a mighty, awesome one. Therefore my persecutors shall stumble, and they shall not prevail. They shall be greatly ashamed, for they shall not prosper. Their everlasting confusion shall never be forgotten. But, O Yahweh of hosts, that tries the righteous, and seest the reins and the heart, let me see your vengeance on them. For unto thee I have opened my cause. Sing unto Yahweh, praise ye Yahweh, for he had delivered the soul of the poor from the hand of the evildoers. Cursed be the day. He had delivered the soul from the hand of the evildoers. He did. But still, cursed be the day wherein I was born. Let not the day wherein my mother bare me bless. Cursed be the man who brought tidings to my father, saying, a man child is born unto thee, making him very glad. I was glad when I understood these things and understood where I was in scripture. I was moved in the spirit. What? And let that man be as the cities which Yahweh overthrew and repented not. And let him hear the cry in the morning and the shouting at noontide, because he slew me not from the womb, or that my mother might have been my grave, and her womb to be always great with me. Wherefore I came forth out of the womb to see labor and sorrow, that my days should be consumed with shame. Understand, this does it ring a bell so far? Good. Okay. The word, it says, then said Jeremiah unto them, thus shall ye say to Zedekiah. That's King Zedekiah, okay? He was the son of Micaiah, and Zephaniah, the son of Messiah. They was both like priests, okay? He says, I will turn back the weapons of war that are in your hands. Wherefore ye fight against the king of Babylon, and against the Chaldeans which besiege you without the walls, and I will assemble them into the midst of the city, and I myself will fight against you with an outstretched hand, and with a strong arm, even in anger, and in fury, and in great wrath. I will smite the inhabitants of this city. Which city? The city that you're dwelling in. The one that you thinking is in service to God, but he finna tell you, you're not. After seeing both man and beast, they shall die of great pestilence. And afterwards, said Yahweh, I will deliver Zedekiah, king of Judah, and his servants, and the people, and such as from left in the city, from the pestilence, from the sword, from the famine, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of their enemies, and into the hands of those who seek their life. And he shall smite them with the edge of the sword, he shall not spare them, neither have pity nor have mercy. And unto this people thou shalt say, thus said Yahweh, behold, I set before you the way of life, and the way of death. He that abideth in the city shall die by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence. But he that goeth out, and falleth to the Chaldeans that besiege you, he shall live, and his life shall be unto him for a prey. For I have set my face against the city for evil and not for good. He has set his face against the city for evil, not for good. It shall be given into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall burn it with fire. And touching the house of the king of Judah, say, hear ye the word of Yahweh, O house of David, thus says Yahweh. Execute judgment in the morning, and deliver him that is spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor, lest my fury go out like fire, and burn that none can quench it, because of the evil of your doings. Behold, I am against thee, O inhabitants of the valley and rock of the plain, saith Yahweh, which say, who shall come down against us, or who shall enter into our habitations? But I will punish you according to the fruits of your doing, said Yahweh, and I will kindle a fire in the forest thereof, and it shall devour all things round about it. What is he saying? There's a lot of false prophets out here, man. A lot of people that's claiming to be the chosen ones of God. I see a few of them, and they have some knowledge. They have what the Bible call forms of knowledge, but they're believing on the ancient things, having no knowledge of the things to come, the ending of it. That's what the Bible says. They have all this ancient knowledge, but they have no knowledge of the ending of it. Okay? For they got all these statutes and laws and stuff that they bringing up in these old books of Mormons. I'm gonna call them out, man. Big Judah. His other guy, man, I forget his name, but they're great men of God, though. You understand that great men of God, and they believe that they're having truth and understanding of these things. But thus said Yahweh, go down to the house of the king of Judah and speak there this word and say, hear the word of Yahweh, O king of Judah, that sitteth upon the throne of David, thou and thy servants and thy people that enter by these gates. Execute ye judgments in righteousness, and deliver the spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor, and do no wrong, do no violence to the stranger, the fatherless, nor the widow, neither shed innocent blood in this place. For if you do this thing, then shall there enter in by the gates of this house kings sitting up on the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses. So he's saying, go out and do this thing. You have to charge them with these things. For then that's the only way that the king can actually be given unto the throne. For Christ has already taken the throne. For that wouldn't be a man-child then. I wouldn't have been who I am if that hadn't happened. But there's things there that we have to understand. For thus says Yahweh unto the king's house of Judah, thou art Gilead to me, and the head of Lebanon. Yet surely I will make thee a wilderness, and cities which are not inhabited. I will prepare destroyers against thee, every one with his weapons, and they shall cut down thy choice cedars and cast them into fire. Those are the beliefs. Choice cedars, the trees and the plants that you grew in knowledge, and you was moved in learning who you were. Well, I was moved in learning who I was and learning about, you know what I'm saying, just the power of God and seeing it for myself. Like, I was very moved about it. He said, chop all that down, player. And many nations shall pass by this city, and they shall say, every man to his neighbor, wherefore hath Yahweh done this to this great city? Then they shall answer, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh, their Elohim, and worshipped other Elohim, other gods, and served them. Weep ye not for the dead, neither bemoan him, but weep sore for him that goeth away. For he shall return no more, nor see his native country. Weep for the ones who have left. Most of them are not going to be able to come. Most of them are not going to make it back. For God going to have to come get you himself. Thus says Yahweh, touching Shalom, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, which reigned instead of Josiah his father, which went forth out of this place, he shall not return here anymore, but he shall die in the place whither they have led him captive, and shall see this land no more. Woe to him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. That saith, I will build me a wide house and a large chamber, and cutteth him out windows. Let's see, let's move on. Let's move down, because I'm trying to get to the part. And the son of Josiah king, my brother. Stick with me. I'm going somewhere. Trust me. Woe unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith Yahweh. Therefore thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings. I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries where I have driven them, and I will bring them again to their folds. And they shall be fruitful and increase, and I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking. Okay? He's going to be setting up. I'm put here to give you these things so you don't have to worry about it and be fearful and be angry and all this stuff that you're going through when you're going through it, because I know you're going through it, because I am too. Okay? I will set, oh, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper. He shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby you shall be called, Yahweh our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, said Yahweh. But hold on, Yahweh our righteousness? Is it Melchizedek, the king of righteousness? Is that his name? We're not going to go to Melchizedek, though. I just want to throw that out there. His kingdom was a kingdom of peace. Therefore, behold, but Yahweh liveth, which brought up, and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Mine heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man with wine had overcome because of Yahweh, and because of the words of his holiness. For the land is full of adulterers. For because of swearing, and the land mourneth, the pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force is not right. The pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up. So we do understand that there is pleasant places in the place where there's wilderness. That's how we bring into understanding that the body is, I'm just trying to wrap that for you. And it's going to keep coming. For both prophet and priest and profane, yea, in my house have I found their wickedness, said Yahweh. Wherefore their way shall be unto them a slippery ways in the darkness. They shall be driven on and fall therein, for I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation. Now, I didn't even see that. I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation. Visited by who? By Yahweh. He came and visit, yes. He said, I'm going to visit, and I'm going to bring you, and you're going to have glory and feel good. And then I might bring some evil upon you. And I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied in Baal and caused my people of Israel to err. How did they make the people of Israel err? How? I just told you at the beginning, and it's been improved itself. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem an horrible thing. Now, I just told you in Ezekiel, the first daughter was born of Samaria. She was born in Samaria, Egypt. Okay, that's the one that I came with. I was dwelling in sin. That was that one. Then when that one, that one was gone, then the other one came. She was from Jerusalem. She had these things, knowledge of these things, but she fell by the same way of her sister. So there's Samaria, Egypt, and Jerusalem right there. Prophets of Jerusalem, a horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom and the inhabitants of Gomorrah. Therefore, thus says Yahweh of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood and make them drink the water of gall. For from the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land. All the land. He gonna say that a bunch of times. I'm talking about from here all the way there. He gonna tell you it's none. For I didn't say you wasn't gonna know something when I spoke it out of pride. I just know that you wasn't gonna know it because the word is true. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not of the mouth of Yahweh. They say, steal unto them that despise me. Yahweh had said, ye shall have peace. And they say, unto Yahweh had said, you should have peace. And they say unto everyone that walketh after the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you. For who had stood in the counsel of Yahweh, and had perceived and heard his word? Who? Who hath marked his words and heard it? Behold, a whirlwind of Yahweh is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. The anger of Yahweh shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it perfectly. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel and heard, and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings. I am Elohim at hand with Yahweh, and not an Elohim afar off. Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him, said Yahweh? Do I not feel heaven and earth? Now we get into these precepts now. Well, I got markings in here. And this one we get into the good. Oh, man. Now I'm finna start chopping it down. The prophet that had a dream, let him tell a dream. And he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat, said Yahweh? Is not my word like a fire, said Yahweh, like a hammer that breaketh rocks in pieces? Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, said Yahweh, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor. They steal words. They listen to each other and they steal words and ideas and they just spread them. That's it. Behold, I am against the prophets, said Yahweh, that use their tongues and say, he saith. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, said Yahweh, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies and by their lightness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all. And when this people or prophet or priest shall ask thee, saying, what is the burden of Yahweh? Because remember, he just said that they was going to be saying, no harm should come unto you, right? If you know, they untouchable. You know, that's what they talking about now. Thus shall ye say, everyone to his neighbor, what have Yahweh answered? And what have Yahweh spoken? And the burden of Yahweh shall mention no more. It shouldn't, he say, it's not going to be mentioned no more. For every man's word shall be his burden. For ye have perverted the words of the living Elohim, of Yahweh of hosts, our Elohim. Thus saith, look, let's skip down. Here we go. Now, he's finna tell you about the two baskets of figs. All right, these are the two peoples. All right, for he even said before that he's just going to come and deliver some of the people who are of Israel. They know God. I mean, they say his name, they serve him, but they don't really know him. He say, I'm going to come to them just because they speak of my name, but they don't know me. They don't understand these things. He said that. They are of Israel. He said that. One basket had good figs, even the figs that are first ripe. And the other basket had very naughty figs, which could not be eaten. They were so bad. Then said Yahweh unto me, what seest thou, Jeremiah? And I said, figs, the good figs, very good, and the evil, very evil, that cannot be eaten. They are so evil. Again, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away, captive of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans for their good. He sent you out of there, and he put you out, and he's charging against you for your good. For I will set mine eyes upon them for good. Remember, for good. The people who were still dwelling in the land, he's setting against them for evil. Didn't we just say that? But the ones he sent out, For I will set my eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them again to this land, and I will build them, and not pull them down, and I will plant them, and not pluck them up. I will give them an heart to know me, that I, Yahweh, and they shall be my people. All right, let's move a little bit. And as the evil figs which cannot be eaten, that they are so evil, thus said Yahweh, so I will give Zedekiah, the king of Judah, and his princes, and the residue of Jerusalem, that remain in this land, and them that dwell in the land of Egypt, I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their hurt, to be a reproach and a proverb and a taunt and a curse in all the places where I drive them. And I will send the sword and famine and pestilence among them, till they be consumed from off the land that I gave unto them and to their fathers. So all this trying to just be glorious and all of that, and set yourself apart and do it by your own means, brother. That's why we're going through it. Peace, my man. Peace. Rejoice in it. Trust me. It's coming. Where we at? Let's move down some more. They say, I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened. And Yahweh hath sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear. They said, turn ye again now, every one from his evil way, and from the evil of your doings you dwell in the land of Yahweh hath given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever. And go not after other gods to serve them, but ye did not hearken. He says, and to worship, he say, and go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with your works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, said Yahweh, that ye may provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt. Therefore, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, said Yahweh, and Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants, and against all the nations round about, and I will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, a hissing, and a perpetual desolation. Moreover, I will take them from the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, and the light of the candle. Take it all. And this whole land shall be desolation and astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Shall come to pass. He say he's going to take it all, and it's going to 70 years after that. All right. For my nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also, and I will recompense them according to their deeds and according to the works of their own hands. For thus saith Yahweh Elohim of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it, and they shall drink and be moved and be mad. If you really understand this and you was really one of the chosen ones, this gonna make you a little mad, bro. Because of the sword that I will send among them. Then took I the cup at Yahweh's hand, and made all the nations drink until whom Yahweh had sent me, to wit, Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, and the kings thereof, and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation and astonishment, a hissing and a curse, as it is this day. Peep, we getting there. Therefore you shall say unto them, thus says Yahweh, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, and you say unto them, this saith Yahweh of the hosts, Yahweh of hosts, ye shall surely drink it. For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name. And should ye be utterly unpunished? Ye shall not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the all the inhabitants of the earth. He's calling for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, even the ones who trying to stay dwelling in Jerusalem, in the promised lands, trying to stay, you know what I'm saying? Not serving the king of Babylon, or not finding peace with the ones who are serving. You don't have to indulge in those things. I wouldn't advise it, but I wouldn't advise being so upset and angry about it. Smile, for you fun to see reproach tomorrow, today, and yesterday. Peep this. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for Yahweh had the controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth, and the slain of Yahweh shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. It's going to be like poop. You're not going to be buried or nothing righteous. When you die, you're going to be looking like it's going to be poop. And I don't mean actual death, or if you're not walking in righteousness, then you are dead. For if you repenting and setting and being set apart, you are being crucified in your flesh, my man. Howl, ye shepherds, and cry, and wallow yourselves in the ashes, ye principals of the flock, for the days of your slaughter and your dispersion are accomplished. And ye shall fall like pleasant vessel. And the shepherd shall have no way to flee, and the principal of the flock to escape. That was me. A voice of the cry of the shepherds and a howling of the principal of the flock shall be heard, for Yahweh had spoiled their pasture. And the peaceable habitations have been cut down because of the fierce anger of Yahweh. He hath forsaken his covert and the lion, for their land is desolate because of the fierceness of the oppressor and because of his fierce anger. This shall you say unto them, if you will not hearken and walk in my law that I have set before you, to hearken to the words of my servants the prophet, who I have sent unto you, rising them up early and sending them. Then I will make this house like Sheol. Go down a little bit. This is when Jeremiah was coming to those people and telling them, let me rephrase it a little bit and go down. Because Jeremiah was telling them that. And then they wanted to kill Jeremiah. But one of them, Jeremiah was telling them, hey, I'm giving you this. Therefore now mend your ways and your doings, obey the voice of Yahweh, and repent from the evil that he has pronounced against you. As for me, behold, I am in your hand to do with me seemingly good and me whatever you want. I'm here for you to do with whatever you want to. But just know that what you're doing to me, you're doing to somebody who's not guilty. Because I'm coming with you, telling you the truth. So they said, man, we ain't going to kill him. All right, cool. And another guy came after him. What was it? Uriah. Uriah came after Jeremiah and started preaching that same stuff. Boy, they went and got Uriah, brought him to the king of Babylon, chopped that boy down. He said he cast his dead body into the graves of the common people. In the beginning, here we go. There we are. We here now. Thus said Yahweh, make thee bonds and yokes, and put them upon thy neck, and send them to the king of Edom, and the king of Moab, and the king of the Ammonites, and the king of Tyrus, and the king of Zidon, and the hand of the messengers who come to Jerusalem unto Zedekiah the king of Judah, and command them to say unto their masters, thus said Yahweh, I have made the earth, the man,